hopefully, fingers crossed, some Tarahumara Indians. And then the day I arrived in El Paso, I was happily surprised to see a guy that I recognized from pictures as Scott Jurek. This is really my first ultra runner that I was seeing in the flesh. And what I was expecting to find was, I think if you're not familiar with the sport, I assume you would have the same impression I would have, is that these guys are kind of like hollow-eyed, obsessive Skeletors out there, you know, running endlessly for whatever kind of reason, which we would have been better treated by therapy than by running through the mountains. And then I see this guy, you know, like long curly hair, smiley, happy. Jen Shelton, Billy Barnett, Luis Escobar turn up that night, and instead of being obsessives, these dudes head off to some mariachi bar in El Paso and are drinking aquarium-sized margaritas deep into the night. That was my introduction to the world of ultra running and to Scott Jurek. So I was immediately fascinated and thought, well, this is going to be fantastic. I've now got like a 30-hour bus ride to dig into this guy's brain and find out everything I can about what makes a guy like Scott Jurek tick. Unfortunately, there was another guy on the bus named Barefoot Ted. If you've read Born to Run, you realize that if Ted does one thing more than run, or if one thing moves more than his feet, it's his mouth. The first question I asked Scott, and I still have the tape to this day to prove it, I asked Scott a question like, well, Scott, how'd you get your start in running? Scott starts to answer, and then Ted leans in and speaks for like the next 45 minutes, non-stop. So what you're going to be treated to today, and then with this great book, Eat and Run, is basically the answer to the question I've been wanting to find out for 6 years, which is like, what is going on inside that head? And what's unique is you now have 4 people up here who've all tried to do the same thing. All 4 of us are attempting to tell Scott Jurek's story. You're going to get it from all 4 different perspectives, from Peter Sarsgaard, the great actor and now about to become director of the Born to Run movie, from Stephen Friedman, who, and I say this very honestly, I've envied Stephen Friedman for a lot of years. I think he's the best magazine writer in America today. I think he's fantastic, and what he does with writing about endurance athletes is unsurpassed by any other writer in the country. And Scott Jurek himself, who has lived more, seen more, and done more than all of us combined, and many other people who rolled into one, would not equal his achievements. So